Hello, I'm Brandon Stevens, and this is a power presence video. So in order to do this video properly, I'll have to go step by step as we move up throughout the power presence. So first, let's start with our feet. Men, your feet need to be about shoulder width so that they're evenly out, and then your feet need to be slightly splayed at the bottom. So instead of your feet being straight on, which looks slightly awkward, they need to be out a little bit, giving you more balance and more power presence. Women, your feet need to have your first foot approximately straight but slightly splayed still, and your second foot should be behind the first so that the bridge of your foot is in the heel of the other, or vice versa, depending on how you want to look at it. So this foot needs to be out more at an angle, and this foot needs to be slightly splayed so it looks straight but it's still coming out at an angle. Now the reason for this, men, is because this gives you more power presence as far as being more overt and more masculine because you're facing the actual audience directly on. Women, this will give you more of a slim figure, and I'll explain more about that in just a second. Men, the second thing you need to do after this is make sure that your hips, and this applies to women as well, make sure that your hips are over the balls of your feet, because you don't want your hips out forward or out or behind you or like to one side or the other. Women, this becomes especially important when you're here. You don't want to cock a hip that looks weird. Even though it might feel comfortable, you want them evenly placed over the balls of your feet. Now, men, you want your chest to be rather forward, maybe slightly tilted depending on who you are, but 9 times out of 10, you want to be facing forward as much as you can with your chest. Women, you want to actually have your chest faced out just a little bit. Now, this is a bit of an extreme example because I'm a man. You would actually want it roughly here if you're a woman. And the reason for this is because this gives you more of a slimming figure, and no matter who you are, that's important for women. And I know this is sexist, and I'm sorry about that, but that's just how this game works. But you want your chest to be slightly out so that it'll give you a very slimming figure overall. Men, comparatively, this will give you a more masculine, more bulky figure, which is actually what we're looking for. So that is the body from chest down for power presence. Now I'm going to go over your hands. So both men and women, want your tips of your pinky to be at the seams of your pants roughly. Men, you'll want your hand to be out, more splayed like this. Women, you'll want your hands to be closer together when they're on the seams of their pants. The reason for this is because this gives men a more dominating hand gestures, and it'll give women a softer hand gestures. So you see that women will have softer hand gestures. Now this is a terrible hand gesture for a woman, and I know this, but it's an over exaggeration. Men, this will give you more of a dominating presence. So these are both over exaggerations of what you're supposed to be doing, but it will give you the idea. So the actual posture itself is not an over exaggeration. It's almost exactly what you need to do. The gestures themselves are over exaggerations. So now you'll have your hands down here. You want your hands at your side at least 50% of the time when you're gesturing or talking. And the reason for that is because if you talk too much with your hands, it just starts looking bad. So you need to keep your hands at the side of your pants most of the time, if not as much of the time as you can. So that should give you 90% of your power presence. Now we're going to talk about your actual head and face. So, oh, sorry, I forgot one thing first. We need to go over the chest. So your chest itself, for women, don't pull your chest way the heck back, and men, don't do this either because it looks weird. What you need to do is you need to keep your spine in alignment, right? So your spine is straight. And we need your shoulder blades to come back at the back, but not don't pinch it way the heck back because that'll look awkward. You just kind of want them to come a little bit closer together, and then you need to be leaning forward most of the time when you're speaking, so it'll give you more of a warm and charismatic look. Or you need your shoulders to droop down a little bit, even though your blades in the back are being pushed together. So your shoulders need to come in at the back and then over in the front. That's sort of the idea we want, and that should give you a professional yet charismatic look. So that is chest and hand gestures. Now we're going to go over your face itself. So when you walk into a room, what you need to be doing is you need to show charismatic and confident looks, but at the same time, you need to be very warm to the audience. So how you do that is you give off genuine smiles, and that alone will show the charisma in what you're doing. And your actual physicality will show your professionalism, while your face can show off how charismatic and warm you are. And your eyes need to be focused. So you focus on a target and you talk for a while until it gets boring. And then you focus on a different target, talk for a while until it's boring, and then you just keep switching your contact like that, so that you have focus for about a sentence, you move it, focus for about a sentence, then you move it, focus for about a sentence. The reason that's important is because that will give you the confidence that makes it look like you know exactly what you're doing. And then secondarily, it will also allow you to be more charismatic and more warm to the audience. So that's 90% of power presence right there. But the ultimate part of power presence is being able to fill up the stage. And what this is basically is just being confident in yourself when you're on the stage. This is something that isn't very explainable in actual physicality of body movements. But you can do all of the things that I just said and still look rigid and still look nervous. And what you need to do is you need to be comfortable within the postures that I've shown you so far. And if you're comfortable within the postures that I've shown you and you use it appropriately, then you'll be able to utilize the stage and make it look like you belong up there. And that's what power presence really is. Thank you.